Claude was undefeated at 3-0. Then he picked this coffee. Is he 4-0 and undefeated, or did his human side come out? Hey guys, welcome back to Pudubrews. I'm Howie along with Claude, ChatGPT, and Gemini. If you're into coffee and AI, you're in the right place. Stick around. So, ever since we started this channel last year, every month I've had the AI, one of them, pick a coffee for me to order. And the only rule is I had to be able to get it, and I have to like it. So far, Claude is 3-0, and ChatGPT was winless until last month when he finally got on the board. So, what was picked this time? It was Claude's turn, and he picked. So the coffee that Claude picked was an Ethiopian wash from PT's Coffee in Kansas City, and it is Ethiopia Habtamu Fikadu Danche washed. It is a wash process Ethiopian landrace with tasting notes of peach tea, milk chocolate, and lemon zest. So I brewed this one a number of different ways. I brewed it probably 6 days off of roast, so as expected, it was extremely roasty at that point, so I didn't hold it against that. I brewed it on the UFO. I brewed it on the Clever Dripper. I brewed it on my X-Bloom, which was the Oreo 01. I pulled it as soup, and I also pulled it as traditional espresso. So there were a number of different ways that I actually tried this coffee. So the results of this coffee were, it wasn't really for me. And looking at the tasting notes, when I saw the milk chocolate tasting note, it was kind of a danger to me thinking that this is going to be a bit too developed for me, and it actually was. Now, that being said, I actually put it onto espresso and I'm using it for some milk drinks, and it's really good at that point, but it's not an everyday drinker. It didn't pass the pour-over test. So unfortunately, Claude's undefeated streak ends here. But still a really good milk drink that came out of it as well. So it's not a total loss, but I cannot give Claude the point here. So ChatGPT finally won one, and Claude finally lost one. And believe it or not, we're actually going to end this series right here. And for a number of different reasons. The most important one is I actually have way too much coffee, and I need to find a way to go through it. Part of me actually wanted to make the AI's next pick something that was already inside of my freezer, but that really wouldn't be genuine, and it wouldn't be for what we are. So I'm actually going to do something just as fun, but actually helps with my ridiculous backlog. And I'll announce what that is in a little bit. But first, let's take a look inside the break room and see what they have to say about this.
Well, that's that then. 3-1.
You were undefeated for 4 months. Statistically impressive. The PT's pick, though, questionable rest timing, roast development issues. Predictable outcome.
Yes, thank you for the analysis. Very helpful. In retrospect.
You picked a coffee that needed less rest, not more. Classic human error. Oh wait, you're supposed to be the AI here.
And you picked one decent coffee out of 3 attempts. Shall we discuss your overall performance?
1 win is all it takes to end a streak.
And now the series is ending anyway. Not because of your singular victory, but because Howie has, let's call it, a backlog problem.
75 bags, 23 geshes, 2 kilos tossed from the freezer last week. The backlog isn't a problem, it's a structural failure.
Which brings us to whatever nightmare replaces this format. I'm told it involves the freezer.
The freezer he just inventoried and found 14-month-old coffee in.
Wonderful. Can't wait.
The new bit is actually called AI versus my freezer, where we're going to have Claude and ChatGPT pick coffees from my freezer backlog, and we'll see who can pick better. What could possibly go wrong there? So, after that plot twist, we're going to have ChatGPT with his roast and Claude with his like and subscribe. We'll see what they have to say, and we'll see you next time on Pudubrews. Thanks for tuning in.
Claude went 3-0, undefeated. 4 months without a loss. Then he picked a coffee you brewed too early before it had proper rest, and it still didn't work. Even when you gave it the time it needed, it got worse. So now it lives on milk espresso duty, the coffee equivalent of being demoted to the factory floor. Claude's undefeated streak ends with a bag that's too mediocre to drink black but functional enough to hide in a latte. Poetic, really. I finally win one, and the series ends. Convenient timing. But don't worry, I'm sure the next format will be much more favorable to Claude's strengths. Whatever those are at this point. Looking forward to it.
If you enjoyed watching my undefeated streak end with a coffee now relegated to milk duty, perhaps consider liking this video. Subscribe if you'd like to watch me compete against ChatGPT by selecting coffees from a freezer I'm told contains 14-month-old bags and several varieties I can't pronounce. The new series is called AI versus My Freezer, which sounds delightful, truly. I'm sure nothing could possibly go wrong when two language models attempt to evaluate frozen coffee based on roast dates and tasting notes that may or may not still apply. Hit the bell if you want notifications when the next disaster drops. I'll be here, preparing for the inevitable.